Yo, what's going on, guys? And of course, we got to do our series preview of the New York Knicks versus the Boston Celtics. And of course, before we start, if you guys just want to hear my prediction, just go to the end of the video. You guys can hear what I have to say about who I think will win in the final 2 to 3 minutes. This video will go over both teams, preview them both. We'll start with the New York Knicks just because of recency bias and in terms of like your mind being freshly aware of the Knicks, and then we'll go into Boston, of course, the defending champs. Now, again, I'd like to hear what you guys have to say down below in the comment section on who do you think is going to win, why, and how many games. Let me hear those predictions. Like, comment, subscribe, and go to hoopshype.com to see my other work. Of course, like I said, we're going to start with the New York Knicks. So how have the New York Knicks, from a statistical standpoint, fared so far in the playoffs? Now, they've actually, their offense is, playing at a decent level. Obviously, offenses, when they go into the playoffs, this was the 9th ranked points per game offense, and they are one of the better ones in playoff terms, are scoring about 8 points less from their regular season standpoint. But that is to be expected. A lot of these games are scoring under 100 points. So that is just the name of the game. And their defense, I think, is standing out. That's something that they are playing. Their offense, obviously, karl-anthony Towns, Jalen Brunson, this little sprinkle in of OG Anunoby, Josh Hart, Mikal Bridges, and Deuce McBride, has had them be a team that they're turning their defense into the best offense. And I think they've been able to get to the free throw line a lot and allowing themselves to, obviously, the margin of victory is shrinking in the playoffs, and what they're good at is drawing fouls, playing tough defense, and rebounding the basketball. So by doing that, that's something that obviously they can play big, and they're going against the Boston Celtics team that can be big. So Jalen Brunson, so far through 6 games in the playoffs, this is a 30-point per game dog, a guy who's playing on one ankle, who's been the offensive focal point, the key cog in this offensive machine. And to me, he's the one who's shouldering a massive scoring load, but he actually has helped this time around with karl-anthony Towns. I know he fouled out this game, 20 points a game, 10 rebounds. Not only is he stretch big, but he physically imposes his will inside, beats and bruises the opponents. In this case, it was the young Pistons. And then you have the glue guy, Josh Hart, doing a little bit of everything: rebound, defense, starting fast breaks, defending fast breaks, passing. OG Anunoby, when they need him to be a guy who steps up in a night where Jalen Brunson or karl-anthony Towns isn't having a good night, he's going to be able to do it. He has the championship pedigree. He's also defending the opposing team's best offensive players, and he's going to usually dunk the basketball. Did you know he was one of the guys who led the NBA in dunks that wasn't a big man? Yeah, OG Anunoby, baby. And I think in a game like this, where we got to see, in a battle of wits, the Knicks know how to go toe-to-toe. They have Tom Thibodeau. You got another perimeter defender and a guy who can be a secondary scorer in Mikal Bridges. He had 16 points this series. So with Mikal, OG both being your third options, which I think is really good third options, because the third and fourth options are 2 guys who are perfect to be the tertiary scorer. And then you got the do everything in Josh Hart. And Mitchell Robinson, in his limited role, I think, again, he comes in, he gives a breather. He's just supposed to give some rebounding and defense and just allow karl-anthony Towns to breathe, which I think he's the offensive rebounds, the rim protection is just what they need. And then Deuce McBride, he's struggling with shooting right now, but he's a defensive pass first backup point guard, and it's been able to be alleviated with Campaign, whose spot minutes as a scoring spark plug off the bench has helped them a lot. Outside of that, to me, I think we're able to see that their defensive core of Anunoby, Hart, Bridges, and then a little bit of Robinson mixed in with Brunson, Towns, and Bridges and Anunoby is really what makes them an attractive team when you see them matched up against, obviously, the defending champs that are the Boston Celtics. So let's go over to the Boston Celtics. And the thing is this is going to be a team that's going to have to force the Boston Celtics to play their game, slow it down, be bruisers, and just be like, we're going to physically impose our will over you guys, and you're going to have to play our style of ball and not yours, which obviously is stopping the Boston Celtics from hitting their three-pointers, which is the biggest thing, and forcing them to go inside. Now, let's talk about these Boston Celtics. My dad actually went to college in Bentley for his undergrad because my dad immigrated. My grandfather's from Yugoslavia, grandmother from Italy. Dad was born right after World War II in Pescara. Literally as a child or baby, boat ride to Argentina like all the other Serbian, Sephardic, Italian Jews did after the war. So then when he came here to, I don't know why I'm sharing this anecdote, but the whole thing is he came to Miami and he didn't speak English for like the first couple of years here. And he was like, damn, I should probably learn English because he's like a business guy. So he went with his wife at the time to college in Boston because he thought, let's go somewhere super white where I'm going to be forced to speak. And either way, let's just little story. So my dad grew up like raised me like I grew up a Timberwolves, Magic, Wizards fan. I'm a masochist, I know, but that was everywhere I lived. But my dad raised me on Bird and stuff like that. So seeing Boston, and I remember like in the third or fourth season watching the NBA was when the Celtics won. So, but either way, so it's cool to see like them being this elite team that, oh my God, their lockdown defense, they averaged 93.6 opponents points per game, which is absurd. They were basically equally, if not better, shooting splits. They're, like I said, the true shooting is the same thing. And technically they weren't as good as a rebounding or passing team. And that I think is because they played a big team against Orlando. And we saw Orlando was there as giving them trouble. So when you see them matched up, I think the Knicks so far, even though the Knicks played a different team, the Knicks have the fire in their offense of power to go toe-to-toe. But Boston obviously is just a really good defensive squad. They're just never missing. They're able to rebound. They move the ball. They don't turn over. They don't foul. And the Celtics enter this matchup just with an elite defense, an efficient shooting team, a team that is just completely top to bottom, super deep. And obviously it's going to be in Boston's favor unless like the Knicks are able to play at a consistent level, because you have Drew Holiday, who technically has regressed, and he's someone who's a defensive IQ, facilitating, and always hitting a timely bucket for a team, while he's paired next to Derek White. And the thing is, Derek White can be an on-ball, off-ball, great shot blocking guard who guards 1 through 4. And then you have Payne Pritchard, who's just instant offense, one of the best shooters in the league, going to be able to do whatever you want in his limited minutes. You have a interior presence who's a rim deterrent, floor spacing, big man in Kristaps Porzingis, who hasn't even been at his best, but he's probably going to play good against his former team. Jayson Tatum is at an MVP level. He's an offensive engine, rebounding machine, and playing at an MVP level while bringing that gravity, while Jalen Brown is getting downhill, attacking and playing his explosive two-way style, while you still have Al Horford coming off the bench, giving you some rebounding and allowing you to play these hybrid lineups. Mix in a little sharp shooting and floor spacing in the small ball units with Sam Hauser and Luke Cornett, who can be the backup energy big, who'll be a little bit of a light rim protector. And situationally, if anything bad happens or someone gets hurt, they still have Neemias Queta and Baylor Shireman and Torrey Craig and J.D. Davison and Jordan Walsh. It's just crazy how much. And they're basically one of the best teams in three-point shooting, free throw percentage, opponent field goal percentage allowed at 42%. So when you just look at those two teams compared, that's where it becomes incredibly crazy to see everything that Boston can do stacked up. It's wild. They are a deep team, and that's why they are a championship defenders. I guess it was the right way to word it, because I was going to say the championship contenders, but they've already won it. So, prediction. I don't think Boston is going to have an easy time here. I do think, also, by the way, this thing, Jesus Christ, we're going to put a pimple patch on that bad boy. But what I do think is going to be key here, the Knicks need to play big. They need to make Kristaps Porzingis, Al Horford have the worst days of their life. They got to pound them, force them to go inside. Don't allow them to take three-point shots. Close out on them, funnel them inside, and try to have karl-anthony Towns and Mitchell Robinson make their lives miserable and not allow them to play the three-point style. You can't have a shootout. You got to force this to be always basically a low-scoring game if you can do it, and grit and grind and just play a physical match. I don't know why my hands are doing this, but a physical match that is just going to really piss off the Celtics. It's going to be hard for the Knicks. The Celtics, they're going to play their game. Pull them out. Drag them out. Pull karl-anthony Towns in a mismatch. Switch them. Have dribble handoffs going off where you literally turn that dribble handoff into a pick and you're shooting off of that. Just shoot. Make every game a shootout. Tell them to score as much as you can. Sometimes forget about playing defense. Just make this a shootout. You're going to win it if it's going to turn into a shootout. You will win every game if it's a shootout. I don't think they will be able to shoot the same level of threes that you are able to shoot, Boston. So Boston just wants to play their game. Shoot. Kristaps Porzingis, Al Horford, Jayson Tatum. Everyone's just going to be dribble handoffs to, Jayson Tatum, Jalen Brown, Peyton Pritchard, Sam Hauser, Derek White, Drew Holiday. They literally have Kristaps Porzingis, Al Horford being screens and just rim running if they're not going to be taking the shots and just finishing inside, or just pulling everybody out, pick and roll, and when they go under, shoot it. Get mismatches with karl-anthony Towns against a Derek White, a Drew Holiday, a Jayson Tatum, a Jaylen Brown in space, ISO, hit the open three-point shot that you're able to create from just, exposing his slow-footedness against perimeter players. That's what is going to have to happen, because you're not going to win this just by trying to grit and grind them inside. No, that's what the Knicks are going to want to do. But the Celtics, they're just going to go ahead and just say, okay, we can shoot 53 pointers a game. Keep up, boys. Keep up. I think the Knicks can take 2 games from them. I think this is at the very least 6 games. I think they do it in 6. I think at the least 5 games if it's real out of hand. But yeah, I think 6 games, Celtics. Man, if the Knicks win this, it's 7 games. If the Knicks were able to win this, 7 games. But I think it is Celtics in 6. Let me hear you guys' thoughts if you guys agree. These are actually really good. These are sugar-free. Pretty solid. If you made it to the end, subscribe. I'm out. I'm done. Ciao.